Oh my goodness. Okay. Woo! Y'all just don't know what type of pressure I am under. Okay. First of all, let me apologize because my workspace is a mess. I'm a mess. I look a mess. My nails is a mess. But more importantly, I have been so caught up in the mess and drama of the royal family, okay? And I guess I'm a little embarrassed and ashamed to admit it. But it's captivating, okay? You know, everybody's family has drama, and it just makes them just look so much more normal, even though everybody has their opinions on how Harry and Meghan went about it and all this other stuff. So I had been scrolling through YouTube looking for the tea. You know, I want to get that little insider information. What happened? You know, he said that he hadn't talked to his father and his brother in a long time. Nobody was answering the calls. You know, so I was, have they spoken? What's going on with that? And I just happened to see somebody do a tarot spread on this. And I have to be honest, I'm not too familiar with the spread that this guy has done. But when he was doing his analysis, I was like, that's not what I see. You know, that's not how I would interpret this. And I was like, I've never, ever, publicly or let hardly anybody know, outside of maybe like a handful of people, just a few people, know that, I do tarot readings, and even then I don't do it all that often, so I'm a little rusty, even though I've been using these as divination cards, regular cards or tarot cards since the early 2000s, maybe 2001. So I've been doing this for a while, but I'm a little rusty. That's why I got my book here that I'm gonna reference just to make sure I'm on the right path. It's a little dusty. I gotta blow some stuff off. I have a candle here. I always try to light that candle. That candle helps me feel some peace and some protection. I don't really like to do these types of things without feeling some types of protection. So I got all types of pressure on me. I feel so much pressure, just like I'm letting this out the bag. And on top of it, I'm commenting on somebody else's stuff that I'm not too familiar with. And on top of that, I got the nerve to comment about somebody else's personal situation. But hell, why not? And I'm doing this. Am I doing this? You goddamn right I am. So let me get to it. I'm reading this upside down so you can kind of see it. I know it's not the best, but let's get to it. So, once again, I'm not too familiar with the spread, but I can see, and I remember the guy saying that the Two of Pentacles was kind of the foundation of the situation. And if that is the foundation of whatever call or whatever situation is going on with Harry and Meghan, Two of Pentacles has to deal with money, finances, and more in particular, you see him kind of juggling these pentacles. That means that someone is juggling their finances, and you can see this guy's juggling, and you can see the water in the background. And what that indicates is this person, or whoever these people are that this is representing. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with the spread, and I can't really identify exactly who this is speaking to at the moment. This person is juggling their finances, and they're barely above water. So this represents some real hardships with finances. Now this is placed, and that's my interpretation in comparison with the man who was reading it earlier. And that, once again, I'll reference my book just to be sure, so that I feel a little bit more confident about this. So this phone call, the foundation of the energy behind this phone call, just me commenting on what this guy had, his spread, and the cards he laid out there. The foundation of the energy of this was financial hardship. Now I don't know who that's referring to exactly, but let's get into this next layer. Now, directly right there under the hardship, this financial hardship energy that's the foundation, is the King of Wands. And what does the King of Wands represent? Silence. And if Harry, this is just for me further backing up, Harry's saying that my brother and my father are not taking my calls, I haven't spoken to them. Basically, King of Wands pumps the brakes and says, hold up, I ain't talking to nobody, right? So this King of Wands is already starting off, I'm not talking to anybody. Now let's read from right to left. I hope that's still right to left for you, because that's what I would anticipate would be how this would be broken down. Okay, right to left, the Chariot. The Chariot is it's major arcana, and it's just like your first major arcana here. There's only two from what I can see, and the Chariot represents what I like to look at is street intelligence. You may not be book smart, but you're street smart. Okay, so and I don't see the Fool or anything, but I just want to note at the head of this second part of the spread, the second layer, you see the Chariot, which is the street smart individual. And at the end, the tail of this, I see the Nine of Wands. So the streets, and this is why I want to refer to this, the street smart perspective is, I might not be book smart, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to, I know how to get things done. I'm street smart. I know how to handle my way, in spite of maybe not having the typical type of intellect that people would refer to as being, more of the norm, but I have another type of intelligence, and that's knowing how to survive and get things done, in another fashion, right? And the second part of this, so this person starts off using their street intelligence, but they end up, Nine of Wands to me symbolizes they're beating themselves up. And maybe the street smart person is saying, maybe how I went about this wasn't great, wasn't all that awesome. And that's like sugarcoating it, because when you get the Nines of Wands, honey, that means that you are just at it. You just can't think about nothing. You are just like really, I often get this card because I'm the type of person, if I make a mistake, I'm thinking about it 24/7, beating myself up, thinking of all the different ways of how I should have really done this, and just like, man, just really abusing myself. And that's what you see. You see him holding his wands. Wands represent communication. And that's what you're seeing as that main theme with the King of Wands. You see that at the tail end, the Chariot, whoever that represents, is beating himself up, him or herself up, because the actions that they normally take that give them confidence are being, street intel and how to navigate yourself, in that fashion. And what that has done is made that person feel like they failed, and they are beating themselves up big time. And that's why you see, if you can view it, in this Rider-Waite version of tarot, is that this person has a little headband wrapped around and this staff in their hand. Once again, wands symbolize communication, and this is symbolizing that this person is beating themselves up in the head. It's a mental game, and they're really, really abusing themselves about this. Now, back to the beginning. So the person started this off feeling confident that they were going to use the means of what they know, the intellect that they know, and that's street smarts, to go against tradition. The Hierophant represents tradition, and what I would be guessing is Harry would be the Chariot, Harry and Meghan, and they are going against the firm, which is the tradition, how things, have always been, have been, and always, hopefully, in the Hierophant's perspective, always will be. So the Chariot went against tradition. something formal and inflexible. And what happened was, whoever represents the King of Wands said, and that has to be associated with the Hierophant. So it has to be associated with tradition. Tradition said, I'm not talking to you, bruh. We are not going to speak. Okay? You have been cut off. And I see that cut off within the Six of Pentacles. Remember, Two of Pentacles, the foundation of this energy represents some type of financial hardship. Okay? And whoever is that King of Wands, they represent a certain type of power that influences that money. And that person has said, not only am I not speaking to you, but I am cutting off your monies. Okay? I am not. Six of Pentacles. Pentacles represent money. And that usually speaks to someone giving and someone receiving. On this end, I'm not seeing this type of charity as something maybe Harry and Meghan are working on. I'm seeing this charity as something that has to do with the institution of the family, the firm itself. And what I'm thinking is, if this is coming directly after the King of Wands, which is under the energy of the Two of Pentacles, of financial hardship, this person has the power to say, actually, I am cutting your money. I am cutting the check, baby. And this person, whoever the Chariot is, remember that correlation from beginning to end, is saying, man, however I went about this was wrong. Okay? And this wasn't what I wanted to achieve at this moment. So that's my analysis. And I feel pretty confident about that I don't have to reference my book. And I don't want to spend too much time going through it. But yeah, that's my interpretation of it. I know that they weren't getting paid for that Oprah interview. At least that was what was communicated at the beginning of it. But there was some type of financial dependency on whoever that Chariot is. My assumption is that it's Harry and Meghan in some type of way. And one other thing that I want to mention about the Chariot is it symbolized another type of balance. So actually, just so that I can confirm it, let me break that down. And when I say balance, I mean just kind of like there's a reference in there when someone's street smart and not maybe they don't have the intellect of someone who is book smart. That really references someone who feels confident in their intuitive aspect of life and understanding, that they intuitively understand how people work without having to have to consult a book to understand that. They can read people in a way that maybe someone who's book smart can't, without having to first do an analysis in something like written text. And there's a correlation between the Chariot and, speaking of the intuitive, the High Priestess, where just like she has her columns and they symbolize black and white. And I'm not speaking to anything regarding race in this instance of why I think the Chariot represents Harry. I'm thinking more of balance. And so I'm going to reference here the High Priestess and why I think that's significant here, that intuitive aspect. So the black and white represents an intuitive type of knowledge, and that's correct. That's the symbolism that I have put down, written here in my little book of the High Priestess. Okay, and her knowledge. Okay, this was more of the feminine. The Chariot is more of the masculine interpretation of that intuition, from my understanding. So let me go back to the Chariot, because there's a correlation between that energy. Okay. For some reason my little Chariot's missing here. Okay. So the Sphinxes, why? Just so for the High Priestess, it was pillars, but for the Chariot, it's sphinxes. Okay. Sphinxes have to do with riddles. Okay. Solving the riddles, solving the puzzles. So when they opened up and they gave their Oprah interview, they were giving us the knowledge, the pillars of knowledge, and solving the riddles of what we were speculating on, what was going on, and letting us know that in their view, a lot of that information was false. Okay, so that's what the Sphinx is here symbolized here in the card to me. Okay, so, and yes, going back, it's saying just what I have written. This is a person who was trained naturally. This is intuitive for them, their understanding, and with street smarts, but not book smarts. This person must use common sense and the intuitive natural answer within. Okay, so he gave us Meghan, actually, and Harry gave us an understanding of the firm tradition. So with their street smarts, they've solved the riddles of what we anticipated, what we speculated the firm to be. And because they brought these things out to light, the firm, the people within the firm, maybe that would be senior royals in this case, especially Prince Charles and Prince William, are like, we are not talking to y'all. And not only are they not talking to them, they are financially cut off. Okay? And the Chariot, Meghan and Harry, are actually regretting this decision big time. So the face that we're seeing is they feel proud, and that they've let this out, but there's actually some deep regret, and that has to do with the feelings that they are having, mainly due to this financial hardship that's going on. So to me, I was thinking, hey, they're winning, they're getting their interviews, they're doing all types of stuff. They got podcasts and all of that, and Harry, Princess Diana left Harry, a good sum of money, so he's doing all right. This card lets me know that there is a financial hardship. Okay, if whoever did this spread is correct, this is a financial hardship that is affecting them, that has gotten them cut off from the money. Okay, and they are regretting this choice deeply. Okay, so that's my analysis. Tell me what you think, how you feel. But I think this is a better analysis than the one that was given. And actually, I got so kind of unnerved with it. I didn't see the complete thing, the complete analysis. I was just, through every interpretation, through a lot of it, I was just like, what? That is not what I see. If you're going to look, I'm coming in on somebody else's spread, and I don't even totally know the spread because it's not something that I use. I use different types. I know everybody does their thing different and has different training. But, on one hand, I have to say, I have to respect whoever was doing this. And, obviously they're doing pretty good. They got a lot of followers and such. But personally, when I saw that, not only did it make me kind of critical, but still respectful. But it made me critical of, that type of analysis. And it also made me say, don't just criticize someone, privately, because he at least has the boldness to do and say what he wants to say. Look at you. I mean, he's saying what he wants to say, and you're over here just criticizing. Don't be a critic. Be better than that, and if you feel like you can offer something different or offer something better, do that. And so that's just my interpretation. I'm not trying to one up the man. The guy did what he had to do, and I commend him on that. He's certainly doing better than me because he's got way more followers. But I was just like, let me give my interpretation and see what the people feel, or what their interpretation is. But that's my reflection on it. And if I were to analyze his spread, this is what I would see off the cards that he was presenting to people. Now tell me what you think, how you feel. With these types of things, there's always a bias that people have, and hopefully some of mine hasn't gotten too much into the cards. The whole object is to just read the cards, don't cold read. And that's very hard to do, especially when you've been following something like this, But this is my interpretation. Tell me what you feel. I won't make this too long. I can be very verbose. That is a problem with me. So that's it. And maybe I just might do another one. And I can take my own criticism. I can dish it, I can take it. All right. See y'all. Maybe I'll do another episode. All right.